This session we're going to take a look at designing with brushes, a couple of different ways and techniques we can use to actually do designs with brushes. Totally departing from static art and clip art into designing more interactively with more flow, working with brushes, creating more custom designs, but yet very easy to work with. Now that we've gone through the brush pack and we've looked at how brushes work, we'll actually start designing with brushes. And I'm going to start out with just a simple piece of clip art here, which is this baseball skull, to create a very cool design very easily and very quickly, working with brushes. One of the first things I want to do is I want to create some type of splashed or distressed border around the skull of my baseball clip art here. So I'll go ahead and take this. I'm going to ungroup this. What I'll do is I'll select my white object here on top. I'll hold down Alt and click down. That'll allow me to click and select a black object in the background. I'll just hit Control C and then I'll hit Control V to paste that back in. I'm going to give that no fill. I'm going to give that a red outline just so I can see that outline. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my shape tool. I'm going to come up here to the top, right click on this node and select break apart. Then I'm going to come down here to the bottom. I want to zoom in here about to where the center is, this node here, right click and select break apart. Now with that selected, I'm going to go ahead and click off and go back to my pick tool here. And go here on the center point on the X, right click and select break curve apart. Now I have two objects. Then I'm going to go to my artistic media tool. I'm going to go to my brushes and I'm going to go to grunge brushes because I'm going to add a grunge effect around the outside of the skull. So go here to my grunge stroke folder and select OK. I'll come in here with those two selected and just click on some of these brushes and let them be applied to my graphic. Now that's a little bit too big. I want to bring that down in size and resize those. And you can see what's going on here is that I'm creating kind of an outline flow around what's going on with the object that I created when I copied, pasted, and broke that outline apart. Now I don't like these brushes. They're not flowing with that flow very well. So what I want to do is go ahead and get a different brush here, process that, and we'll bring that down in size even more. And I might not be happy with the grunge. And you can see that we're having some issues with our nodes here, but I can fix that very easily. I want to go here and click on this. I've got this one here and this one here. The issue I'm having here is that these nodes aren't flowing very well here with the effect. But that being the case, I'm not really going to worry about it because I'll go ahead and delete that and I'll work with this one here. And I'll go ahead and double click on this because what I want to do is smooth this out. So I'm going to double click here, come down here, select some nodes, come up here to reduction in my properties bar and just reduce the number of nodes that are applied there. Now that's a pretty cool effect coming off the one side of the skull. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. To mirror it, you'll notice that I don't have that available. If I click off and click on, I've got my brush properties. I can't really mirror that. But if I go ahead and just start reshaping it, holding down Control, that'll constrain that, and I can bring that shape back over here to the other side. Right click on both of these, order, and go to back of page. Wants to go to a different layer, that's fine. I can go ahead and use my arrow keys to adjust that so it's more balanced on what's going on there. Now, looking at this, if I zoom in, I can see there's an issue right here with this, that this brush is broken a little bit, but that's just because of the way it's flowing with the line segment that it's attached to. So if I drop another node here, you'll notice that that was fixed just by adding that node. And I'll want to do the same thing over here. Just double click and drop another node there. That got fixed, but it changed the direction. You'll notice that when I fixed that, it changed the direction of my stroke or took it back to the original size. So what I'll want to do at this point in time is click off here, select this, right click and select Break Artistic Media Group Apart. Because I know I'll be happy working with this grunge the way I've got it set up. Bring this over here, mirror that. Even though we came from a brush, now we've got a vector object, right click, order, and select to back of page so it'll go behind my skull. Then I'll come up here and select my line segment that I just separated my graphic from and delete that. So now I've got this kind of grunge going on around the outside of the skull. I'll take my arrow key and balance that out just a bit and bring that in a hair just like you see there. Now that effect having been set up, the next thing I want to do is add some wing or some type of look coming out off of that. I could actually take this the way it is here. We'll group this. Now that brought everything to the front of the page, but that's fine. For now I'm just going to hit Control X to cut that. I'm going to go ahead and group my skull back, hit Control V to paste that back in, right click, order to back of page. Then all I need to do is select everything, hit the C key, and it'll all be centered. Next thing is go back to my brush tool, and I'm going to add some different type of look here with my beveled shapes. So come up here to beveled shapes, and the best way to get familiar is just spend some time experimenting with them. Once you get the brushes dialed in, you'll know what to go with and where and what you want to do with different effects. Spend a little time, but your design speed and quality is going to increase exponentially, and you'll be able to do really insane design effects for your clients very quickly, very easily. I've got beveled shape select here. I want to come in here and grab a different bevel object here, something like this here, and just start to create like a wing look with that. Something like that there. Now I don't really like that. I want to hit Control X, and I'll go ahead and get rid of that just by cutting it, or I could have just deleted it. But I'm going to come and play off down here where the eye is, come outside, and then swoop up here just like that to create like a feather look going through there. Now I can see what different shapes will look like coming off of this by changing my brushes, by changing the strokes that I'm working with. You can see I get all different types of looks with this. And I'll come in here, and I think I'm actually going to want to work with that. So that being the case, I'll go to my pick tool, double click on that. I've got a node here I really don't want, and I think I might even want to get rid of this one here and delete that. Now you can see that that messed up my stroke, but I can go ahead, double click here, drop another node, and then bring this in and adjust my shape some more. And I'll bring this down this way here, and I want to grab the control arm here and change this shape here down that way right there, and then bring this out this way and smooth it out just a little bit. So I've got the shape that would be kind of like a wing or a feather or a type of starburst or something coming off the back of this design. And this will eventually be moved to the back of the page. And I'll bring this out this way and move that way just a little bit, and then tweak this over here this way. So once I've got that set up, I'm just going to bring this over here and actually change this just a little bit here, just to arch it out that way just a bit. This will actually be behind the skull here, so the shape's not really going to be that important. Next thing I'll do is I'll go back to my brush tool, left click, hold down on my mouse, and just bring some more strokes out, as you can see here. Now, I work with a pen tablet also when I'm doing this type of work, but you can work with a mouse just as effectively. So very quickly, very easily here, I've got a nice little feather type design set up here. Now I can see I've got some issues here on this. I'll go to my pick tool, double click on that, and you can see I got some extra nodes that I don't really want those. And I might want to bring that down in size just a bit to start fitting the way in which the design flows. And I can click on, with my brush tool here, my artistic media tool, I can click on these and just go in and just click my way down, just make them just a little bit smaller in size than the other brushes. So now that I've got that set up, all I need to do at this point in time is just go ahead and left click, lasso all of that, right click and go order and select to back of page, other layer, that's fine. And then I can duplicate this and bring it over to the other side. I'll want to mirror again using my object handles here, holding down control to constrain that and bring that out there on the other side, right click, order, and to back of page. Now you can see I've started to build a really insane effect on this skull very quickly and very easily. I'll go ahead and select everything here and resize this just a bit and get it back towards the center of my page. Now with all those effects going on with the design, let's say I wanted to bring some banner in here at the bottom so I could put some text in it. Go back to my artistic media tool, and I'll come up here and I'll go down to my banners, and for this one I'll select a hand-drawn banner, and we'll just take a banner here and bring it down across the bottom of the chin. That's where I want to put my banner, and I'll come in here and select a hand-drawn banner, something like that there. Now that's not really what I'm looking for. I might want something like this. I could put some text in something like that. I'll have to change the size here of the banner and bring that up in size. That's a little too much. Bring this down to, say, right about there. And I don't think that banner is really going to work. I don't think the shape of that's going to fit with the shape of what I've got down there. That one there, nope. This one here, actually this one looks pretty good. I think we can work with this one. Go ahead and get my pick tool, double click on that. I'm going to bring this node up out over this way. This node here up out over this way. This one in the center, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. And then I'm just going to balance out these segments here. Kind of center this up a little bit. Now you can see that we lose some detail, but then if we recenter what's going on here, so now I've got this whole banner look going on here. What I'm going to do is double click, drop a node here, bring the shape of this banner down here, and then bring that out that way so it flows that way, and do the same thing here. Now bring this out this way, change the shape here, and you can see how sometimes you'll have to manipulate your nodes to get everything to work correctly. You know how it disappears there, but it all has to do with the shape and the way in which your graphic is applied to your shape. Now there's my banner for the bottom of my design. I might want to bring these two nodes up here. I'll just lasso those and bring these up. There's the banner at the bottom of my design, the way that's set up. Now if I wanted to bring some flames up here in the top, I could go back to my artistic media tool, and I could go back in here to, let's say, my flames, which are here, and we'll go with styled flames, and I want a flames that's kind of, I think, transparent. I'll select OK. I'm going to bring a flame up into here. Now we got a banner, but that's okay. We just come up here and click on a flame, and now I've got a flame look coming up that side there, and then if I want another flame look coming up here, and then I might want another flame look coming up through here through the center. Something like that. Now the way that's shaped, I don't really like that. Double click there. I'll bring this node down here just to make this flame a little bit longer. Then I'll come over here, click on this flame, grab this node, drag it over this way, so that'll flow with the design. And then I can just go ahead and right click on my skull, order, and select to front of page, and here I've got a really cool design set up, really in a matter of minutes, as you can see, working with the brushes and the effects that I have from the brushes. Now if we go ahead and set up some color in the background here, I'll take this vector object and we'll take this to the background and make this red and send it to the back of the page. And we got to send that back on layer, so I go to order to back of page. Other layer is fine. I can come into my brushes here, change these to say a yellow going on to a red garment or a red look, and you can see we can start to create some really cool design effects here. Go ahead and click off, and I'm going to go ahead and click and select all of these flame effects here. I want to go right click, order, go to in front of, and click on my red here. Other layer is fine. Zoom in, take a look. I think there's an issue right here on this flame, and there is. But I can fix that. So I'll click off, double click on this, and there's a problem with these nodes. You can see that these handles are overlapping just a little bit. But if I pull this back and bring this up this way just a hair, we should be able to repair this by adding some nodes here and deleting some nodes. You can see now that's been pretty well repaired. Might want to do a little bit more tweaking with that, bring it back that way, and then we've repaired where that brush wasn't functioning or didn't quite flow correctly. And we can do that with our nodes, and it'll take some practice, but once you get used to it, you can see how I'm just flying through here very easily, creating this really off-the-wall design with all these really off-the-wall elements that have totally departed from clip art into a style of art that's totally different. Now I've got this set up here as a black. I believe I'll leave that as a black, and I might want to come back in and then start to add some text and different elements to the design, maybe some splats or some grunge brush effects around the outside on top of what's already there. For instance, looking at this design, what I probably want to do is bring something in here along these feathers, and maybe it'd be something like some barbed wire. So I'll come back here to my artistic media tool, go back to my folders, go ahead and collapse flames, go back up to, let's say, barbed wire, select OK, and I can come in here, grab a barbed wire brush, something like maybe this one here, left click and pull that down in here along where the feathers are, and I want to bring that down in size quite a bit, not quite that much, bring that up to about 0.6. That's a little bit more than what we want. I'll bring this, maybe look at some different brushes here. Take a look at this brush here, and that's a pretty cool look there. I'll bring that down in size a little bit more, and I can take this, double click on it, change the size of it. I can see that this is coming over here even though it's going to be smaller, and then just kind of form that into what's going on with that wing. And you can see I can start to add some barbed wire to this. I'll right click, order, and select the back of page, select OK, and I want to go behind the red object there, so I'll right click, order, and I'll go to in front of and click on the red there, select OK, different layer, and I could go down through here and add some barbed wire, add some splats and grunge and all kinds of different things to this design very quickly, very easily. As I said, create a really off-the-wall design working off a central piece of clip art and then adding different parts and pieces coming off of our brushes. So go ahead and wrap here with this session, and we'll continue in our next session.